Welcome to another segment of Alien Robot Production. I am revealing No Man's Sky for you. This is a brief introduction to the game. I will be putting several segments of different variations of the game's aspects for you. This is a ×2 camera speed of the mining process, which is basically essential for game progression. Do not skip this because everything is upgraded by elements you find in the game. This video clip right here and the next one coming are segments for alien life and why you need to properly identify the fact that you are connected to the server when trying to name such life forms. I made an attempt to name this creature right here Goaty McGoatface, but due to simple issue with the server, basically No Man's Sky released with so many people that the server was unavailable for uploading. So this guy and this guy right here both got posted to the servers with their randomly generated names instead. This creature right here I also attempted to name Stegosaurus Pig, but like previously noted, did not go through. All in all, I have been at no loss for alien life when it comes to searching the alien planets. This screen right here is your identification screen. This is where you upload the names of the creatures that you name yourself. You can either name them the randomly generated names or the names that you give them. But you must notice the icon down in the lower left hand corner. If it is red, you will be unable to name the creatures. Instead, it will upload to the server automatically with a randomly generated name. This screen right here is your journey milestone screen. It basically your milestones, your achievements. Enough said. This video clip here is of one of the random points of the game where I just sat in the space station looking at all the ships coming and going. And I felt this would make a good video clip to demonstrate where most of the commerce of the game will be taking place. You do have trade posts on the planets where you can actually do this, but this is basically where you'll see more ships frequent than anywhere else. You can actually trade with the individual traders for these ships, or you can make an offer for their spaceship. Essentially, you want to trade with these guys as much as possible because the shops in the space station or even in the ports have a set fixed for when it comes to elements. These traders will have more of a random supply of shop items. As we go through here, I will try to show you different variations of the ships. You got a cargo ship right here in the background. Some of these will look relatively like this more often than not, but the inventory slots that you get for the ships will change varying on the level progression or wherever you're at. Essentially, everything is procedurally generated for the ships, even when it comes to the look. Sometimes you'll find one of these ships that looks almost identical to another, but there will be slight variations to the way the frame looks, or like I already stated before, the inventory slots. Some of these ships can get quite costly, so I would recommend thinking twice when upgrading the ships, because it is reasonable to note that when you purchase a ship, you do not sell your previous ship. So in other words, when you buy a new one, you're essentially just abandoning your old one. Now, if you leave your old ship abandoned in a location long enough, it will disappear along with the stuff that is sitting in its inventory hold. I recommend when you do purchase a new ship, go through and scavenge whatever you can from your prior ship before moving on to your next one, and move all that stuff into the new ship's inventory. This ship in the background, I thought to note, it basically looks like a cross between a TIE fighter and a X-Wing, and was one of the more interesting ships. And I'm referring to the red one in the background, not the blue one. The blue one is the ship I'm currently using. As for flight, I will be getting into that later on in this same video. But as we move on, I will be going into basically where you find your tech and resources. So I'm just going to leave that at that, and we will be coming back to gameplay in a second. Here we go. Right here is where I'm going to be basically taking through you the flight dynamics for interplanetary flight. Unfortunately, I do not have any clips of any space battles as of yet, but I don't intend on really messing with any of the traders, so you might have to go to another channel for that one. Interplanetary flight is somewhat reminiscent of hovering through the atmosphere in a Harrier, and personally, I do not dislike that. It gives you a lot of opportunity to basically hover over a point in slow speeds and basically just take in the landscape. I will note that landing can be a bit tricky sometimes with the automated landing system. I have actually had instances where I actually landed on rock or cliff faces and essentially just fell down quite a ways when it came to getting out of the aircraft. Note, I do think they will be working to fix that if enough people actually bring that to light. In this next video clip, I landed on a random moon with a acid or radioactive atmosphere. According to the icon, it's radioactive. Note, your ship is a mobile shelter. And another thing to note, this building I am currently looking at is an abandoned manufacturing plant. Do not pass these up because they do hold some solid tech, as will be demonstrated further on in this video. Right now I am hiding in my ship because I alerted the sentinels, and this is something else to note. You can hide in your ship currently. As you can see with the sentinel, it fires a few shots, but as it gets closer it just stares at me. And I will be going through my inventory to demonstrate that you are perfectly safe in your ship currently as you do so. Further along in this video, and I apologize for this, it will take a little bit, but you will see a second form of the sentinels, which I just recently discovered. Took me a bit to find, but I'm assuming people are getting disappointed about the sentinels only being these little hoverbots. Well, this moon I am currently sitting on, under the description, states that it is a high security point for the sentinels. So I wound up getting this little dog-like robot thing attacking me when I went to go blast this door for the second time. In all fair honesty, I really did not have the patience to actually get to this point and go into the manufacturing plant legitimately through the alien race interaction, which I don't know if there is actually a possibility of. So I personally just decided to blast the door down, which wound up getting me into this bit of a mess. If you take notice that once I start firing back at these guys, they really do not like it. And when I start firing on the door, actually I guess it went up before I blasted the door. But these places hold some really good loot when it comes to tech, so I really recommend you do not avoid these places. If you have to shoot the door down, I think it is warranted for the slight loss you get with the standing with the alien race. These little sentinel dog robot things are very annoying compared to those floating robots. They take quite a bit more to take down, as you could obviously see. But in the end, getting into this manufacturing factory was well worth it, as I'll demonstrate in a little bit. Another thing I would like to note, and I may have already noted in this video already, but your ship does act as a shelter. So when you are on a hostile environment, like in this video it shows that I have a radioactive atmosphere, it is always best to go into your ship or any shelter for a small amount of time to let your meters reset. It gives you more protection. And would also note that you should constantly keep an eye on your life support system, because you will need to recharge it periodically depending on how hostile the environment is. The more quickly it will go down. Another thing to note, be sure to loot those canisters you get from the Sentinels, because they do hold good high selling valued items. Don't know if you can personally use them, but they do sell for quite a bit. So best to loot them. As you can tell from the interior of this place, you're not supposed to be here. Bells and whistles are going off constantly, and would recommend you turn your volume down when you actually do this, because when I first did it, it kind of blew my ears out. It can get a little annoying. The small terminals on the side of the building will hold standard tech, which you can find basically everywhere you go, but when you go to the center console is where you find the good alien tech. Usually it's hidden behind a little logic puzzle. Sometimes it has to do with numbers, sometimes it'll have to do with the alien races. When I came across this, I was utterly surprised to find the formula in which it isn't stating. I thought you were only able to purchase antimatter through the shops. I personally think this is going to give me a leg up over most people for however long it takes other people to find it. No telling how long it will take you to find the formula for antimatter, because I honestly don't know how lucky I was to find this. Personally, I figure I'm very, very lucky. And I will say it again, this is the very reason why you should not ignore these manufacturing facilities, because they will give you stuff that normally will probably take you forever to find. And I am running to the end of the video, so I'll just call it that. Have a good one, and stay tuned for further videos. I do acknowledge the mix-up in the video segment after the space base. I was supposed to show a segment and comment on the tech gathering, and instead I did the flight dynamics video instead, and then the tech gathering. I apologize, but it was too much of a hassle to go back and re-edit.